I've just got back from Osaka, where I've just gone to the Volks showroom and in Nipponbashi to submit my competition piece for the Vallejo contest that they run. Basically, Volks run this Vallejo partnered contest in their stores basically twice a year. And it's been really fun kind of entering into these contests and trying to challenge myself to paint as best as I can and just see how I do against kind of the local competition. It's been getting harder and harder and harder at every single contest. And I have never shared this on my YouTube at all. And I thought, you know what, this will be a great opportunity to do so. It's one of the reasons why I don't actually produce as much content as I used to, because I spend a bit of time actually painting these contest pieces, which are right bother to try to make content about usually, just because of the amount of time it takes to paint the bloody things. My latest piece I'm putting into the display category was of Lava by Mindwork Studios. It was from the Brom Kickstarter that I backed. It was a really fun piece to paint. I don't really consider it properly finished. I didn't have quite enough time. I got sick and I just couldn't do any painting. And basically the cutoff date came and I was like, I got to submit something. So I have put it out there. I am happy with the general vibe of it. I just don't think it was quite as finished as I wanted it to be. So, that's okay. However, I really wanted to share all of the really lovely work that I saw today at the Osaka showroom. And just, kind of go over what the competition is if you're unaware of it and the different categories and things. So I entered into the miniature display category with the Lava, as I said, and that's kind of the main category. That's the A category. And there was some really nice work there. We'll have a look at those in a little bit. But there's other categories as well that people enter into. The B category is for robots, and this is a lot of kind of Gundam style stuff. Some cool things there. It's not really the category that I'm really too excited about, but you can tell that a lot of Japanese really do like it a lot. Then the C category is military. I'm always actually quite impressed by some of the dioramas that people make for the military sections. They're always very, very realistic and they look really, really nice. So I was actually very impressed this time around. I think it was a couple of the best ones I've seen so far from that military category since they've been doing this contest, since I've been joining this contest. And in the D category, we've got gals, and it's just all kind of women, and kind of a lot of it is anime kind of thing. It's not really my scene, but again, quite popular in Japan. Surprise, quelle surprise. So it's still, there's still some very nice models in there and very nice paint jobs and things. It's just not really my kind of cup of tea. Then there's also the monster category as well. The monster category is pretty cool. You get a lot of Japanese, kind of Japanese stuff. So a lot of kind of Godzilla and some of the like the odd, weird monsters from things like Ultraman and other old kind of Japanese nostalgia pieces, which makes it quite cool, mixed in with more contemporary kind of monster ideas. I will say if you do enter anything into that side of things, then leaning into the whole Japanese nostalgia thing really does well for a lot of the competition, because every time I see the results from those ones, it's generally those nostalgia pieces that do quite well, considering that this particular contest is a public vote contest. So sometimes it's more about the model than it is about the paint job, which is a bit of a shame, but that's just the nature of the beast, as it were. Finally, then there's a free category where people just put in anything that they like. And this one is always very interesting to see what people have submitted. A lot of the time, that is a case of someone submitted something in one of the other major categories and they've got another thing that could probably slot into the same category, but they can only submit one thing per category. So it then goes into the free section. This time around, I just didn't have enough time with commissions and work and everything else to submit into any other categories. So I've just gone for the display side of things. But that's enough of me rambling about the display stuff. Let's have a look at some of the models. So just enjoy this little slideshow of these lovely, lovely models. So I mentioned that I entered into this competition a few times. I'll show you some of the stuff that I have entered in the past. I've really enjoyed this. It's been a really good way for me to try and push myself in areas where I'm weak. Generally, what I find the hardest is creating the diorama around a model. So I always try to challenge myself as often as possible with this in creating some sort of a diorama. I made a few with somewhat success, I guess. The very first one I ever entered actually was just a simple bust of Tyr. And actually that got me the gold in the display category, which I was really surprised at. At that time, there wasn't a lot of competition. It was still good competition, but that one did particularly well. In my second contest that I entered, I did the Carol Rudrick. Is that I think Carol Rudrick model of the Lady in the Lake. And I took that as an opportunity to try and make an interesting diorama. And I tried to make the river, the lake, with a bank and a weird tree that's growing up there and a little backdrop as well with everything. So that one I was actually very, very pleased with how that one actually came out. It did quite well. I think I got bronze in that one. Then following that, I tried to do something a bit bigger. And I did a Minotaur riding it was a Minotaur riding a rhino. It was a really fun model to paint, and create the whole diorama was really, really fun as well. I got really into doing that and creating this little waterfall scene. It's not perfect, but I did learn a lot about trying to make little dioramas and things. And so it came out pretty well. And that one although it didn't get any place in the actual contest, I got like a staff pick, which was very kind of them. However, all of these models, basically all the stores across Japan will send the photos of these models to the makers of these models. And so I actually won the Zealot Miniatures #1 in Japan kind of painted model, which was very, very nice. And Zealot Miniatures actually sent me some models as a prize, which was very, 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 very nice. And that in itself was a very, very special kind of reward. Then I entered, the last one I entered, I decided, let's try and go into loads of categories if I can. And so I entered, what did I enter? I entered into the display pieces a bust, kind of a cyberpunk style bust. I was really pleased with how that one came out. I think I tried a little too hard on the whole diorama, and the actual diorama part of it overshadowed the paint job that I did on the actual model. And it didn't even place or even get a staff pick, which was crazy in my mind, because I was really proud of that one. I also entered like a little bust into the Gao category, just like this little, it was kind of like a cool little bust that I just enjoyed painting up. It was just a really, really nice model to paint. It didn't do anywhere good because it was just not the right type of thing that attracts people's attention, I'm afraid. Then I also made a little diorama, and with that diorama, I had a little Space Marine diorama that I created, which the idea of it was it's supposed to spin and you can see it from all angles, and there's something to see from all of the angles, and it's called Killbox. I was really pleased with how it kind of turned out. It was a good test of my OSL, object source lighting. Not perfect. It was a bit too dark. However, it did get the staff pick on that occasion. And that was the last one I did. And then I was like, okay, let me just focus down on one piece. And that's why I did lava this time. So hopefully it'll do okay. But this time the competition is really solid. I think there's some really, really nice models, which are better than mine. And I just wish everyone the best of luck. And I look forward to seeing the results. There may even be even more models coming up later on today at the store. I won't know. I won't be able to go. I'm not going to be able to visit again until the contest is finished and they do the awards. So I'm going to look forward to that, and I might do an update video to let you know how it went, what the winners were, and yeah, and share a little bit of that. Okay, but yeah, I thought I'd just share a little bit with you the fact that, you know, I think display painting is something that can really level up your skills. And if you're ever wondering about whether you should try or not, I'd say just do it. If you can enter a contest, especially something that's not an online contest, online contests can be, I find, pretty demotivating, because you're getting like sometimes the best across the world, sometimes just entering in the competition, and it just makes you feel like, yeah, my level is way too low. Even at some of the simple online contests and things. But if you can find like local contests, I think those ones are really, really good, because it also hooks you up with other people that are doing them as well in your area. It's a lot of fun that way. And so, yeah, and it really helps you improve your skills, because you take what you learn from the larger models and you can start applying it to the smaller models that you do for your armies. It really does work. Anyway, I think that's probably about enough. That's me just rambling mostly about how much painting minis is fun. On a little note, actually, I have picked out the model that I'm going to be painting for the next competition that's going to be coming, and I hope it will come in time. I think it will, and that's going to be the Mindworks Studios corvusbelli tie-in of Shinobu Kitsune. If you haven't checked out this model, it's absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait to actually get it and start working on it, and I've already gotten some ideas on how I want to approach it. So that's going to be kind of fun. Wish me luck. Have a lovely time, everyone. Good luck with all your model painting, and we'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.